Hello. I'm not sure how else to start this other than to just say hello. And welcome to a Friendly Conversation podcast. My name is Ryan. And, this isn't exactly supposed to be an informative thing that you listen to for half an hour, however long this goes. This is kind of just more, let's listen, let's think. I'm really this podcast started as an idea with my buddy about like 7 months ago, like sometime over the summer, and it was really like a joke at the time. I was like, let's do a podcast and be stupid and see, we'll just see what happens. And a lot of our friends, like people that we knew, were like, go for it. And that was kind of it was eye opening. It was like, okay, now I guess this is something I can do. And we had been thinking about it, like on the fence for a while, and now I'm kind of just the only host right now. But he will be on, and we will talk about it. But it's called a friendly conversation because I want to have friends on, people that I can talk to that it might be a little more entertaining than just listening to my voice on, and talk about stories, talk about current events, crack jokes with each other, see what happens, and maybe just interact with the community that we're able to build with this. And I think that would be really cool. This kind of came from an idea. I guess it wasn't. I mean, everyone does podcasts. I mean, any guy who has any sort of entitlement does a podcast, or whoever wants to put stuff out there. And a lot of the podcasts, I listen to are like informative. Like this morning I was listening to one about serial killers. And, if you've ever listened to, I would suggest Radiolab. Oh, that's so good. They just talk about stuff. And that's what makes it cool. And it's this really like, they do like in-depth research. So it's like you sit down and you're learning things that you probably wouldn't otherwise learn. And then, there are podcasts like, if anyone's ever listened to Insanely Chill with Cody Ko, and then Tiny Meat Gang with Cody and Noel. Those are both very good podcasts that are more just like relaxing. I listen to them just for fun and, to get me in a better mood. And that's more of what I want this podcast to be, is just, listening to someone talk, suddenly being in like a good mood, maybe thinking about things, learning my perspective on things. That's something that's, I think, is very interesting to listen to podcasts, is that you listen to someone and they give their point of view on something, and it could be different from yours or it could be very similar to yours, and that's really cool. And it's not even like important topics, like it could just be music. Like I listen to a lot of music, and not yesterday, Friday, Eden and both Eden and Fall Out Boy released albums, and I listened to both of them that day, and they were both insanely good. And I think everyone should go listen to them and tell me what they think, because I really enjoyed those albums, because I guess it was Eden's debut album. He had like EPs before this, so this was like, I don't know, his big one, like 13 tracks or whatever. And then Fall Out Boy, they'd pushed this album back from like November, and so they just happened to fall on the same day, which it was my two favorite bands, artists, whatever you want to go with, to listen to. And the fact that they came out on the same day was kind of rocking. I mean, they both put out dingers, bangers, just some great songs. And I want to hear, I want like what I just did, what I just said, to kind of like inspire people to either listen to them or talk about them with others. Maybe you listen to it and you think they both suck. That's totally valid. I think it takes a special ear sometimes to listen to Eden. His music can be, it can be interesting to listen to. But yeah, I mean, what I want to get out of this more is doing something that is self-driven. That this is something that I'm not. It's not something that someone's making me do. This is more something that I'm getting fulfillment out of, and I'm also, meeting other people or doing things with people, and it just, it's talking, but you can bring it in many different ways. No matter whatever angle you have, if you have different segments, and I don't know if segments is something like this podcast needs. If it would be more entertaining if we did like, here's where we talk about this for the week, or here's where I talk about this topic, or something like that, or if it's just 30 minutes of me rambling. And my dog is barking, and I didn't expect this. I was going to probably record this like 20 minutes ago, but the vacuum just decided to start 2 minutes in, and so it's been a little delayed, but we're here, we're talking. That's what's important, right? And what was I talking about? This is going to happen quite a bit, where I completely forget what I was talking about. Was I talking about what I think this is supposed to do? This is, I want to bring friends on. That's like a friendly conversation. So it's like a friendly conversation with person, and then we talk with someone for an hour, and like that would be, and I talk to my friends all the time, but it would be cool to sit down and have more serious conversations with people, and conversations about things that we don't talk about all that often, and then just things that would be entertaining to listen to, because it would be a ton of fun for if we started talking about something, and then people were like, oh, we love listening to or hearing about this, tell us your perspective, tell us more, like, connecting with people that I don't talk to as often. I think that would be definitely really cool. And yeah, so, this Monday, man, it's a snow day here, and boy, is it snowing out there. It's definitely coming down, and that's what makes this perfect to record in, I guess. It gives me plenty of time to mentally focus, because I'm extremely nervous to be sitting here and speaking to no one in my basement, because it feels a little crazy to me. Like, there are people who I'm sure are able to do it really well, and then there are people who aren't, and I think I fall somewhere in between, because somehow I'm doing this, but I'm sweating and I'm cold at the same time. So it's, I'm doing my best, but it's not really like, I'll have to get more comfortable doing this, and I think it's just going to come with time, and it'll come with confidence. I'm not exactly sure what to talk about to fill the time right now to make this like an actual podcast episode. Like, I don't want this to be short and you'd be like listening to it for like half an hour, and then you're suddenly like, wait, I didn't get anything out of that. Like, that's the most important thing about this, is that the listener gets something out of it, and then I keep giving something for the listener to get out of, because it's really about creating a community rather than me spewing words into a microphone forever, because that's honestly that's not a ton of fun. If people are just like, well, this guy's really boring and he has no idea what to talk about, so I promise I'll get better, but we're sitting here right now, and it's the beginning, and I guess every podcast has to start somewhere. I've never started a podcast, started listening to a podcast from the beginning, to wherever it may be now, and I wonder how other people like build up, like do their I'm sure their podcasts don't start as good as they would hope, but they start at a point where they're able to build it, and that's the most important thing, is starting it where you can build it at a good rate and give out a product that's good. I'm just rambling at this point. Anyway, like I said, I want to have people on because I think that would be a lot of fun. And I don't know, I want to have one person on sometimes, and I want to have two people on sometimes, because I think a group of three people talking would be like, it's a lot more fun to listen to, because you're like, it's not just two people going back and forth, but like three people. It's like, I feel like more comedy can come out of that, and like, you know, and that's what I want to know. Like, do people want a comedic, like, do they want like cracking jokes, talking about, you know, stories that they might have, or like current events, making fun of current events, or do people want more serious topics, like, or do you just want serious topics when I'm sitting down by myself, like to do like I don't want to say a hot take, but talking about something that might be a little more serious than, like, you know, talking about the time my friends got stranded on their jet ski or something like that. Like, you know, what would be more beneficial? And that's what I want to know. Like, I want to know what people are into. I mean, I can talk about current events because it's, you know, I mean, it's what's around us, but that's all people, I'm sure, hear about on the day to day. So do you just want me to talk about my life, my whatever? Oh, I want you, if you want to know about my life, I'm having a terrible hair day today. Not like I'm going outside or anything because of the snow. I'm frankly terrified to drive in this weather. It's so bad. But my hair just, it's getting like long, and like I have like long wavy hair, and now it's getting to the point where like I'll try and dry it and then it will just curl, and that's so much worse than wavy because it only curls like in the front, and it like just bugs my forehead. I don't know what it is. So I have a hat on today, which I don't like normally wear hats, so like it's kind of bugging me, but the hair bugs me more, so it's like a difficult trade-off that like I don't enjoy. Oh, sorry, I had to take a big old swig of that nice Gatorade, but yeah, it's bugging me. But I do love snow days. I remember how nice snow days were when you were younger and you would wake up at like 9 o'clock and learn that there was no school that day, and then stay inside and eat cereal, I guess. I don't know what I really did on snow days. Now I just stay in my pajamas and do my homework. But yeah, I mean, this is so unsmooth on how I'm like transitioning through topics, but we're gonna get through it because I won't always be alone, and when I am alone, I'll have topics from now on. But I wanted to start this today because I made a decision that this would be out sooner than people expected, and now it's coming full force, and I'm just watching the Audacity like numbers go up, and this is my first time using this software. It's quite entertaining. But no, I mean, I threw this together like really fast. I made all the awful, you know, like the graphics are meh, and I made them all yesterday in like an hour. Which is sad because you're going to look at it and be like, he spent an hour making this? This isn't even that good. I know. And, you know, made the YouTube, made the Twitter, and kind of threw it all together. And I was like, okay, recording tomorrow. And now it's actually happening. It's a little scary. I've never done something this fast, or you're going to hear me say a lot, or just these long pauses. But I don't normally jump into things this fast, so this will be fun. And I think, you know, I was going to do this with my friend, who he will be on as like a guest and stuff like that, but he's just frankly too busy to like keep up a normal schedule of recording podcasts, and like, you know, so that way we have episodes for people. But it's nice to do this alone because when I do things like, you know, go off to college and things like that, then we can have, you know, things aren't going to change as much, except the guests. So it'll still always be me on here, and that'll be really, really nice. I wrote a list of what to talk about, and I covered it in probably the first 5 minutes. So I'm kind of going off what's in my head. I hope it's working. I think it is. But yeah, I mean, where are we going? What I want from the community is like the community. What I want from the people listening is what they want to hear. And I know this is, you know, a rocky first episode, and not every episode will be like this. Other episodes will be more driven. but it's like I have to start somewhere, right? So this is me like putting it out there, like, what do people want to hear me talk about? Like, should I talk about what it's like uh, being a senior and suddenly finding out that you enjoy theater, or should I talk about different events going on in life, or you know college? I'm not even in college right now, so I mean, it'd just be like, this is what I do to look. I did have a music audition. I could talk about that. So I play the tuba, and I had a music audition at one of the schools I'm looking at, and this is a pretty big school, so it was kind of intimidating to go to because I'm wheeling around this huge instrument, like I own the place, like when you're like uncomfortable like in a place, but you have something that's like makes you stand out from everyone else. Like when we walked in, there was like a little girl with her saxophone, and I'm like here with this instrument that's like twice, is like over half my height. I'm not huge or anything like that, so it was just this big instrument that I'm just lugging around, and it was like really intimidating because there were so many people that were going to be auditioning, and I'd met the professor that I was auditioning for a few weeks ago, and so he remembered me by name, and so that was a really cool thing to like experience, is that like someone at like we're at a much higher level than like high school or whatever, and it was very cool for him to remember my name, remember the pieces that I was playing and things like that, because I honestly didn't know if he would remember that stuff, because it was, we had a 40-minute lesson, and then I was gone, and that was the first time we ever met. So it was really cool for him to like, approach me and shake my hand and remember who I was. And, I auditioned, and I wasn't auditioning for anything like crazy. Like they have Bachelor of Arts, applied music, and then Bachelor of Music, and I was just going for the Bachelor of Arts, and so I only have to play like excerpts from like 2 movements, and it wasn't that difficult. And then there were kids before me, and they were really good. I mean, I could only hear them through the door, but just playing these crazy things, and I like, I heard them, and I was like, do I even have a shot? And it was intimidating. It's intimidating to find people around your age or younger or whatever, and and you think you're good at what you do, and they astound you. Like it's not the same. It's like a much grander scale that I was suddenly like thrust into. I wouldn't say thrust into, but that I entered, and it caught me a little off guard. And luckily it's not a competition or anything like that, but it was scary, but it was really cool. It's cool to see what other people, how much they devote themselves to something like this, something like an art, or like or a study, or whatever they devote themselves to, and it was almost like surreal. I mean, there was a guy who was auditioning after me for like his master's in music, and like when he walked up with his tuba, I was just terrified. I was like, I've only been playing for 2 years, and you've been playing for how long? You're probably, it terrified me. I'm quite hungry. It's not helping my train of thought at all, being hungry. I ate like 4 hours ago, and that was like 2 slices of a buffalo chicken pizza. That wasn't enough. I thought I was hibernating today. I should have eaten a lot more. But yeah, now that I've had that music audition, that's one of 5 that I have. So I have 4 more, and it's just weekend after weekend. So that's what's going to be hard, is keeping up this and keeping that up, because I want to continue to practice, to get better, and I have to go to the auditions. But I still want to record these and talk to you guys. And I want to know how many you want. Like 1 a week, 2 a week. Is 2 a week too much? Will you guys even have will you even have time to listen to 2 a week? 1 bi-weekly. Maybe I'll have more to talk about if we do every 2 weeks. or I could do 30 to 40-minute episodes every week, or if you'd rather be like, I want an hour 10 every 2 weeks or something like that, it's really up to the audience. It's not, it's not up to me. I want to be able to, what is the word? It's not like commemorate, but it's, I don't know, give back. That's not the word, but I want to be able to, I don't know. What is the word? I'm actually at a loss. I don't know what the correct word is. But yeah, I want to, we're going to move on from that sentence because it's not going anywhere. And yeah. So am I ready to go back to school tomorrow? I really don't know. Like, a 3-day weekend threw me off. I don't know if it threw me off, but like, I don't know if I want to go back. Like, okay, so I'm in this play right now, and we were gonna have rehearsal in 15 minutes from right now, when I'm recording this, and because it snowed so much, we had to everything got canceled. So of course we had nothing going on, and we have a big competition for the play coming up, and that's it. It's a little nerve-wracking. I've just gotten into theater, so being on stage is still scary to me, even when it's just a rehearsal or something like that. I'm terrified to get called out or do something dumb or slip up on my lines, because I have a lot of lines in this one. And anyway, we have this competition coming up, and like I said, I'm scared for it, but not being able to have a rehearsal is kind of messing with with our schedule. We were like, okay, we're gonna have all this time to be able to rehearse before blah blah blah, and we can get all this stuff ready. And then we were going, and then this snow day plops right in the middle of it, and how in the world are we supposed to, it throws off the groove. And so tomorrow we have an extra long rehearsal, and am I excited? Probably not. 4.5 hours is a long time to rehearse, but at the same time, it'll definitely help, because I think longer rehearsals, from what I've experienced, get people more in the feel of being in their character. I was in a musical, and there are a lot more people in musicals, and people would get more into their character the longer they were there. They would become the character over time, and it just became a habit to them, other than having to system reset and become the character for an hour or whatever after school. And so I think the long rehearsal will be really good. At the same time, it's just really long and a lot of runs. And when you're doing what we're doing, which is it's a Russian play. It's pretty old, but it's a ridiculous. It's a farce. So if you know what that is, it's ridiculous actions, a lot of physical humor, things like that. And oh god, what was I saying? Oh, how hard it'll be, for 4.5 hours to keep up being funny, because I think that's hard. I mean, it's hard for me to be funny for 20 minutes on a podcast, but it can be even harder for 4 hours to have to I don't want kids to feel like they're wringing the jokes dry, because it'll start to feel like that after, I'd say 2 to 3 hours, that you feel like you're just doing the joke over and over again, and now it's not even funny to you. And it's nice that things haven't become funny, because it'll become funnier to the audience, and we're not laughing, we don't break character, but it's a long time. I'm definitely, it'll be chill. I hope we do well. I mean, the cast has been doing just a fantastic job with it, and I have to do this. The way that I'm supposed to walk is so ridiculous, and it hurts my legs a lot. And I should be working out my legs to make sure it doesn't, but lo and behold, I don't. But it definitely, it hurts my legs because I walk in like if you've ever seen those old like Western video games and like how ridiculous their legs look, how they're like they make a circle between their knees or whatever. I basically walk like that, and it's so hard to keep it up for the amount of time that I'm on stage because I'm just hobbling across the stage slowly, and like it makes me I don't know, like I'll get to a point where like my legs are shaking, and like luckily no one can tell because I'm under like these huge pants, but like my legs are just shaking and I'm just trying to stay upright because I'm just like terrified that I'm going to collapse at any moment because of my legs. And I do have a cane, and I'm not good at walking with a cane. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to walk with a cane, especially when it can't hold your weight. 'Cause it's like a bamboo rod. I don't really know where they found it, but I walk with like this bamboo rod, and it just shakes under my weight because I like try to use it the right way a cane should be used, but you see it just like shaking underneath me. And sometimes I'll like miss the ground or like hit the ground at the wrong angle, and it'll just slip right off. And it's a struggle. I play an old man, and it's quite the struggle. I gotta hand it, to the elderly people for keeping it up every day, because I can barely keep it up for the 15 minutes I'm out there. So, yeah. But yeah, I think I want to end it here. I wanted to do like a nice introductory episode, let you know my name's, what my name is, what I like, maybe spew some conversation with people, and that people will start, I want to hear about this, I want to hear about or this or that, and blah blah blah, and whatever they want to hear about, because I just want to know. I want to be able to talk to people. Maybe if it's not direct conversation, but at least we can have kind of a we have like I'm talking about things that people are like engaged in, that they're very interested in hearing, that you don't listen to this like bored out of your mind. You listen to this because you're like, oh, this is fun to listen to. So yeah, definitely leave that below. This should be on, for now, I think it's just going to be on YouTube and iTunes. If I can get them both figured out, it'll be up there. YouTube and iTunes, and then we'll have the Twitter. It'll be at AF Convos. So I'll put a lot more updates on there. When the episodes go live, all that good stuff. If they're up on when they're up on iTunes and when they're up on YouTube, because it might be at different times, things like that. And yeah, and just let me know like what you want to see, because or what you want to hear. If you're not really seeing anything, but what you want to hear, because that's really what I want to talk about. Is I just want to talk about anything. This is really something that's more of a community than it is just me speaking into a microphone. So yeah, follow the Twitter, the YouTube, A Friendly Conversation, and then it should be on iTunes as well. And we'll have a guest next time, so maybe it'll be a little more entertaining than what we're at right now. So yeah, this has been great. How should I sign this off? Let me come up with something in my old noggin on how this goes. I'll be like, and that'll be it for our friendly conversation. How do you end these? Have a good one.